Hi friends, welcome to my YouTube channel SS Analysis. First of all, I would like to tell you that if you are watching this video first time, subscribe my channel to see my more upcoming videos on analysis of different commodities and equity indices. And second important thing is to watch this video till its end to understand this thoroughly to take your decision. Your one like will motivate me to be regular in working more hard for you. Let us start the day to analyze the movement of different base metals on the announcement of Federal Reserve's policy on rate hikes. I find that since the announcement of Fed policy, I find an advent of fresh energy in the base metals as the Federal Reserve left interest rate unchanged on Wednesday and said it would stop its balance sheet reduction program in September and concerns over slowing growth rate domestically and abroad. The Federal Open Market Committee left its overnight fund rate in a range of 2.25% to 2.5%. No doubt that this decision looks to attract equity markets fear on one hand, but on the other, I find that this decision encouraged base metals bulls, and I find a positive impact of this Fed policy announcement on the movement of precious metals, but also on the movement of base metals too. So today I am going to analyze the impact of Federal Reserve policy on the movement of different base metals, and how it will provide a directional move to different base metals. Let us start with the movement of copper futures in a daily chart. In the same pattern, I am going to analyze the movements of different base metals. So first of all, I would like to introduce you with the current position of copper futures. Since the announcement of Fed policy, a good spurt in copper futures up to the level of $2.971, but here we can see some selling pressure which has compared the copper futures to come back up to the level of $2.951 where they are currently sustaining. But no doubt in the daily chart here you can see that the 20 days exponential moving average along with other moving averages have crossed the 200 days moving average, which has formed a golden cross in the daily chart, and I find that this formation in copper future will keep the uptrend intact in the days ahead. So friends, I find that the copper futures will have to sustain above the level of $2.983 before moving more upward. But on the other hand, I find that the current position of 20 days moving average, which is currently above the 20 days exponential moving average, which will keep copper futures under some pressure. But here you can see that the 20 days exponential moving average is moving upward, and I find that in next few trading sessions we will see the 20 days exponential moving average to cross over this 20 days moving average, which will result in a sharp upward move in copper futures. So I find that the current uptrend is likely to be continue in copper futures. Due to the formation of this golden cross, I would like to see the copper futures to remain in an uptrend once we find this 20 days exponential moving average come over the 20 days moving average. Until then, the copper futures sustain above this level, above the level of $2.956. I find that we will see a good rally in copper futures during the upcoming week. No doubt the copper futures will find their immediate resistance at the level of $3, but a sustainable move in copper future above the level of $2.969, which will encourage copper bulls to move more upward from these levels. Let us see this chart in an hourly time frame. So here you can see that the copper futures, despite the formation of a golden cross in an hourly chart, we have seen a good upward move first up to the levels of $2.965, but here you can see that the copper futures are facing stiff resistance and bears are continuously trying to keep the copper futures in downward direction. But on the other hand, the current position of moving averages, here you can see that 20 days exponential moving average is above the 20 days moving average, and 50 days exponential moving average is above 50 days moving average, and all these moving averages are indicating good strength in copper futures in an hourly chart, where I find that the copper futures find strong support at the level of $2.946, and I find a sustainable move of copper futures above the level of $2.950 for next few hours will result in a sharp upward move where the bulls will try to break break this immediate resistance at $2.967 within next few hours. So I find if we see a weekly closing above the level of $2.977, we will find the copper futures to see a gap up opening on the first trading session of the upcoming week. Now let us have a look at the movement of aluminium futures in the same chart pattern, where I find that the aluminium futures have seen some upward move, but at the level of $1945, aluminium futures have witnessed sharp selling bouts which are keeping the aluminium futures under pressure, which has resulted their sustenance in this bearish zone. But on the other hand, if we have a look at the movement of moving averages, here I find that no major signs of development can be seen here, but the 20 days exponential moving average is trying to come over the 20 days moving average, which makes the aluminium bulls to have some hopes. So for understanding this short movement after the announcement of Fed policy, we'll have to have a look at the movement of aluminium futures in the hourly chart. Here you can see that in the hourly chart, the aluminium futures have formed a golden cross here when all the moving averages have crossed the 200 days moving average, and since then the aluminium futures have found a good support at 200 days moving average at the level of $1883, and we have seen a good upward move up to the level of $1949, but where we can see some selling pressure in aluminium futures and the current position of 20 days moving average, which is above the 20 days exponential moving average, and both have turned downward, which indicates the continuity of a selling pressure in aluminium futures during the next few hours. So friends, we will have to keep a visual eye over the movement of aluminium futures. If the aluminium futures sustain at the current levels till the closing, I find a good bounce from these levels where the aluminium bulls may try to cross this immediate resistance, and if we find the aluminium futures to see a weekly closing above the level of $1950, we will find the aluminium futures to see some positive moves in the upcoming week, where immediate support will be at the level of $1948. This level will provide a good support. In that case, to aluminium futures remain in upward direction. But on the other hand, I find here, as you can see, the thick presence of bears is still intact in aluminium futures in the hourly chart, which will keep the aluminium futures under pressure, and in case of a downward move, aluminium futures will find sufficient support, or I will call it a strong support level at the level of $1894, which will result in a bounce back from these levels in the aluminium future. As here you can see that a green candle has been formed in an hourly chart, which indicates the good presence of buyer below the level of $1921, which may provide a good strength to bulls to move upward once again to break this immediate resistance level at $1948, and I find a weekly closing above this level will encourage aluminium bulls to move more upward from these levels. Now let us have a look at the movement of red futures in the same chart pattern, where I find that since the announcement of Fed policy, we have seen a sharp downward move in red futures, but here the red futures have found a good support at the level of $2032, where I find this formation which is evident enough for continuity of an uptrend in red futures, and I find that once we see a weekly closing above the level of $2136, where all these moving averages will come over this 200 days moving average, which will keep this uptrend intact in red futures. So let us see this move in the hourly chart. So friends, here you can see that in the hourly chart, red futures have already made a good base at the level of $2028, where the red futures have found good support 3 times here, here and here. After taking good support on March 20th, we have seen a good recovery in red futures, and here a bullish engulfing in the hourly chart is evident enough for an upward move from the current levels. Here you can see that in the hourly chart, 20 days exponential moving average is about 20 days moving average, and 50 days exponential moving average is currently about 50 days moving average, and all the 5 moving averages are indicating their move towards 200 days moving average, where they will cross this 200 days moving average in an hourly chart. chart, and here you can see that the formation of a bullish hammer in an hourly chart indicates the thick presence of bulls, which will keep the red futures to test the first immediate resistance at the level of $2081, where the 200 days moving average will provide some resistance to red futures. But I find if we see a weekly closing of red futures above the level of $2103, we will see the red futures will break the next resistance at the level of $2131 during the upcoming week. So friends, be cautious while trading red futures, but at the level of $2027, I find a downward move will provide a good opportunity to red bulls to go long from these levels, and if I find the formation of this bullish hammer will clearly indicate the next directional move of red futures very shortly. This hammer, if we find the red futures to sustain above this hammer, we will see a sharp upward move in red futures, where the red futures will try to cross this immediate resistance at 200 days moving average before the weekly closing. This formation is evident enough for the thick presence of bulls below this level, and the current position of all the moving averages indicating the continuity of an uptrend in red futures during the upcoming week. Now let us have a look at the movement of nickel futures in a daily chart. In the same chart pattern, here you can see that the current position of nickel futures is at a decisive point, I will call it, because on one hand all the moving averages which have already crossed the 200 days moving average, and the rate has come above all the moving averages, and currently we have seen the formation of these three outside candle, which is a bullish formation which may keep the uptrend intact during the upcoming week. But on the other hand, the current position of 20 days moving average, which is currently above the 20 days exponential moving average, which is creating some selling pressure in nickel futures. But I find that if we see a weekly closing above the level of $13761, we will see in an uptrend during the upcoming week, because in the daily chart that this formation of a golden cross will keep this uptrend intact, as here you can see that the nickel futures have found good support at the level of $10,578, from where we have seen a strong upward move up to the current levels, and I find soon this 20 days exponential moving average will try to turn upward within next few hours. If we find the 20 days exponential moving average to come over this 20 days moving average, the current uptrend which will result in a sharp upward move in nickel futures to cross immediate resistance at the level of $13791, and if we find a weekly closing above this level, we will see nickel futures to remain in strong upward move during the upcoming week. Now let us have a look at the movement of zinc futures in the same chart pattern. Here you can see that we can see here the formation of a golden cross in zinc futures, as you can see that the 20 days moving average along with 20 days exponential moving average and other moving averages which have all crossed the 200 days moving average in a daily chart, and currently the zinc futures are trading well above this level, where I find that this formation of a golden cross in a daily chart will keep the uptrend in zinc futures during the upcoming week. Friend, here you can see that the zinc futures have found stiff resistance at the level of $2867, from where a sharp selling can be seen since March 13, and here you can see a sharp downward move till March 18, where the zinc futures found good support at the level of $2775, from where we can see an equally upward move in zinc futures, which has created a bullish formation in a daily chart, which indicates the continuity of an uptrend in zinc futures. But on the other hand, this formation of a shooting star in a daily chart may encourage bears to be here in thick presence above the level of $2890, where I find that a thick presence of bears is evident enough to keep the zinc futures under some pressure. But I find that this formation of a golden cross will encourage bulls to move more upward to break this immediate resistance at $2890, where I find that if we see a weekly closing above the level of $2890, we will see the zinc futures will remain in upward trend. So there therefore I find that the current uptrend in zinc futures may remain intact if we find a weekly closing above the level of $2890. Let us see this chart in an hourly time frame. Here you can see that in an hourly chart the zinc futures have found a good support at 200 days moving average, and here you can see a strong upward move up to the levels of $2899, where the zinc futures found some selling pressure which has resulted in a downward move, but here we can see a sustainable move at the level of $2870, which makes it clear that the zinc futures may take a sharp upward move within next few hours. So I find we may see a weekly closing in zinc futures above the level of $2903, which will keep this trend intact during the upcoming week. So friends, now the question is, which metal will lead this rally? Therefore I find that the Dr. Copper may lead this base metal rally during the upcoming week. So friends, be ready to see an action in base metal. If you like this video, don't forget to share this video with your more and more friends. Thank you.